Hello, hello. Today we are going to talk about planning for 4,500 calories. What did you just say, Heather? So this is an exact conversation I had with a coaching client about 2 weeks ago. Now, I want to be super clear. I do this all the time, different calorie amounts, but it's always extremely high. And it's not usually something my clients want to hear. I usually get a lot of pushback on it. Like, Heather, I can't plan 4,500 calories. Heather, I can't plan 3,500 calories. Heather, I can't da 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 da. And so here's how this looks. Okay, why am I even saying this? I see in my coaching practice, people have habits that go away periodically. Like, they'll work on a habit, it'll go away, and then something will happen. And the lower brain kind of gets triggered and it comes back. And the first thing I want to tell you is expect that to happen. So you need managerial tools because it will happen again at some point in your future. Now, this particular client had done really well. She's lost 80 pounds. It's been about a year. She came up on the anniversary of her mom's passing and all of a sudden started noticing she was planning her day of normal eating, to her normal calorie amount, but every day she was exceeding it. She was either eating 3,500 or one day was 4,500, and she would write a plan, but she wasn't sticking with it, right? Her suffering and pain and misery is not coming because she's eating all this stuff. It's coming because she has a thought of what she should be doing. She makes a plan for what she wants to be doing, and none of it's happening. And then what happens over time, you reinforce a belief in yourself that something's wrong, you are broken, you're never going to get your crap together, you thought you had this habit licked, why is it here? It basically starts a cascade of lower brain chatter that's very hard to get yourself back out of. I call it your yapping dog. Like, you wake up in the morning and it's yapping at you. Today you got to get to your normal calorie target. Today you got to stick to your plan. It just talks. And you make your regular plan because in the morning you're fresh and you're feeling good and you think today's going to be somehow miraculously different. And then the day plays out and you see yourself doing the same thing. And then you feel like crap come the end of the day, and then you feel reinforced in this belief that you're broken. Something's wrong. You're never going to get this figured out. And the cycle grinds and grinds and grinds. And so here is what I suggest to my clients to do. And it has worked 100% of the time. But I'm going to be totally honest with you. The challenge and struggle you're going to have implementing this tool for yourself is you don't have me there reassuring you on a daily basis that it's going to be okay, and you don't have somebody to talk it out with. So you're just going to have to trust me. You're going to have to trust me when I say this actually really works if you just implement it. So my client was every day exceeding. She only had like 1 or 2 days a week she was actually hitting her plan. So mission 1 is to get you in alignment with your plan. So you would take the highest calorie day you've been having and you would start to create the plan based on that calorie amount every single day. So she was very resistant to this. And I asked her, could you give me 7 days? Could you do this for 7 days? And I got the buts and the hem-haws and the pushback, and she really didn't want to do it. She thought it would be giving her lower brain all the permission in the world to eat all the things. And then she says, well, maybe this is a trick. Maybe you're trying to trick me. And I said, no, I'm really not trying to trick you. We're going to plan 4,500 calories a day. If you eat 4,500 calories every day, you're in alignment with your plan. There is no arguing with yourself. You've written this plan. That's what you've eaten. You've done it now multiple times this week already. So it's not like we're asking you to do something that you're not doing, right? We're just asking for the plan to match the actions, for you not to be in suffering. That's what we're asking. So for 7 days, and now we're past 7 days, and I'll tell you the funny thing about that. For 7 days, she planned to 4,500. Not one day did she eat 4,500. Some days she was in the 3,000s. Some days she was in the 2. The last one she just sent me was 1,900. What was interesting is after 7 days of doing this, she goes, I get it now. I get it. She's like, first off, I'm loving it. And before, she totally hated this idea. She says, because it gives me freedom. She's like, if I have 4,500 calories to play with, I can basically put anything in my plan I want. I don't have to try to negotiate away this thing and make room for it. She's like, everything can go on the plan. She says, but then I'm actually finding after 7 days of doing this, I'm actually asking myself, do I really want that? Like checking in and asking. And she's like, but not from a place of restriction, from a place of, do I really, really want it? Or did I just put it down this morning to fulfill the calorie requirement? She's checking in. And over the course of the week, her disposition has changed. Now, she's not the only one. I had a lady, we did 3,500 around Halloween because she was eating a lot of candy at work. Right away, again, resistance to doing it. Everyone, and just so you know, when I say these words to you and you go, not me, I can't do that. I get it. You're just like everybody else, right? This is where your brain goes. Your lower brain is trying to fix the problem the same way every day, but it's actually reinforcing the problem. To go completely counter to that and do the opposite feels wildly uncomfortable, but you have to be wildly uncomfortable to break the cycle. If you stay in what's comfortable, this pattern will play out over and over and over again. The discomfort of waking up in the morning and planning what would be your highest calorie day is going to feel uncomfortable. You're not going to like it. You're going to have a lot of thoughts about it. But when you can delete things at the end of the day, because maybe you didn't have the extra roll, or you ate only 2 out of the 3 chocolate bars, or you maybe had only 1 serving a dinner versus 3. When you start to see that you're making improvements and you can delete stuff, right away, there's a shift that happens. You become empowered. You become more in charge. You're in alignment with what you're writing down. You feel better about yourself. The whole thing shifts. But your lower brain is never, and again, thinking leads to eating video series, your lower brain is never going to be okay with this option. It's going to say, nope, we got to get tougher, strict, got to get there, got to do the right thing, You're going to have to step in and say, no, the same level of thought that is creating this problem is sustaining this problem. And if I want it to change, I'm going to have to change what I'm doing, right? So anyway, the basic practical applications, you take 7 days, block it out, plan to your highest calorie amount that you've seen as of late, whatever that is. Fully plan out your day. Don't just put calorie amounts down. Think of all the foods. Go back and look at your previous days. Put all the foods that you enjoy eating. Now, you are welcome to eat them. This is not a joke. This is not us trying to pull wool over your eyes. You can eat it, or you can do what my other client did. She could eat some of it, and then some of it she's like, I don't really want it today. Cool. When you go to bed at night, delete it. There is power in deleting things you didn't want versus adding things you didn't plan and you feel guilt and shame about because it goes against the very thing you thought you were going to fix today, and then it ends up repeating itself over and over again. So please hear me when I'm saying this. There's nothing magical about the number 4,500. I'm just using that because it was my most recent example, but it's you reflecting on the last couple weeks or months, seeing what's been going on, deciding you're going to plan that on purpose, and then giving yourself permission to eat it or delete it. That's your choice. And then at the end of the day, your numbers will either be about the same or they'll be lower. But either way, you're in alignment with your plan. That's the step, because that was what I was trying to explain to my client. That's why it's not us pulling the wool over your eyes. If you actually plan 4,500 and you eat 4,500, then after a week or so of doing it, you're doing what's on the plan. But up till that point, you have not been. So every plan you write is kind of useless, right? Like, okay, I'm gonna plan for 1,500 and I'm eating 3,000. Well, your 15,000 calorie or 1,500 calorie plan is kind of pointless because that's not what's happening. You're actually eating 3,000, right? So once that happens, then you can make shifts. You can say, okay, would I be willing to maybe plan a little less treats today? Would I be willing to plan few less servings of dinner. You can start to make an attempt to change the plan once you're following the plan. So I hope this makes sense. You do the calorie amount that feels right to you based on what your history is showing. And I know it's hard what we're suggesting here, but what I want to just recommend, it's the Albert Einstein quote: insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. If you've been spending a lot of time repeating this pattern, you kind of have to ask yourself, at what point do you want to do something different to get yourself out of it? Whether you're in a binge eating streak, whether you're in a nighttime eating, waking up in the middle of the night, whatever the behavior is, trying to pretend it's just going to go away because you keep planning a better day isn't working. Try planning a not better day. Try planning what would be your worst day. And that way you have a chance to improve your behavior. All right, you guys have a great day. I'll talk to you soon.